The howl of the wolf fills a lonely canyon high above the desert land they call Chakotay. The flint strikes the steel, a cloud conceals the final stand and the noble fall of the great here. Stay safe, stay warm, and you stay free with Chakotay Outdoor Recreation.
Hey, Bill here with Chakotay Outdoor Recreation. So, there's my infamous broken lock from my Traditions 50 caliber flintlock. And what I was doing was I wanted to put a new frizzen spring on there, right? Or new frizzen, right? Brand new frizzen. Ended up being the wrong frizzen, but look at how nice that frizzen is from Traditions. Pretty nice. Ended up being too fat, won't fit. But the point is, while I was trying to do this whole operation, I broke my frizzen spring. And boy, did I ever break it. It's broken. I don't know if you could, probably not on camera, but I broke it right here along the seam. And why did I break it? Because I was using this. I thought, how hard can it be, man? It's one screw. I'll change out the frizzen. No one will be the wiser. Everything's great. I'll just put just a little bit of tension. Well, I've come to find out that these spring steel actually is it's a little more complex than I thought it was. Even in colonial times, they had to import spring steel. Had it not been for spring steel, we wouldn't have swords. Had we not had the sword, we wouldn't have a timepiece. And, you know, had we not had the timepiece, of course, we wouldn't have had flintlocks and we wouldn't have nuclear weapons. Spring steel is important. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you a video of exactly what it takes to make one of these springs, and then you get a whole new respect for it. But this is the tool that I needed. Now this is a vise clamp, and the way you do it, it's really not as complicated as it sounds. You'll take your rifle, you put it at half cock, okay? The half cock position. See how it locked in right there at half cock? And then once you tighten down on the spring, you want to release it off of the half cock position. Get it released off the half cock position, bring it all the way back down. But when it's at half cock, what you're going to do is you're not clamping down on the spring. You're just holding the spring at the position that it's normally held at half cock. And then you do the release and pull it out of there. Now I'm going to try to put it back in. Let's see if I can do that. There's a little nubbit here, right? We're going to line up that nubbit. Lining up the nubbit there, right? So I've lined up the nubbit. Right? Now all I'm going to do is release this. Jeez, man, my fingers, the arthritis today. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. We'll get it nice and loose. Right? Take that off of there, and it's back on. Now, does it still work? You know, did I take it off and put it back on successfully? Well, let's find out. We'll take this to half cock. Okay. Now there it is at half cock again. So it works at half cock. Go to full cock. Let's see what happens here. It's probably going to fly out of my hands because I can't hold it. So it does work. So anyway, that's how you do it. You take it to half cock, you get your vise clamp, clamp it down at half cock, right? Take it off at half cock, take it out of there. You never want to compress the spring more than it's designed to compress. So don't get the impression with this that you're clamping down. No, you're just holding that spring in place before you remove it. You're holding it at the pressure that it's used to being held at half cock. And that's how you do it. Had I known that, maybe I wouldn't have done this. So now I'm going to show you a film. Oh, I just dropped something. Now I'm going to show you a film about how they make these springs and maybe you'll get a whole new respect for it like I did. Yeah, it's kind of funny what a rifle will teach you, how much you'll have to actually learn. And that's part of the joy of flintlocking, though. You learn so much about early American firearms and the different tools and just how complex a mechanism this was. So, all right, let's go to this film and have you watch it and learn about springs.
Besides being a striking surface for the flint, this piece is also the pan cover. When it's down, the steel is in position and the powder is protected. When the flint strikes, it knocks the cover open. A spring keeps it from flopping around.
The power to snap the flint against the steel comes from a large leaf spring forged out of imported spring steel. Besides this main spring, Mr. Gussler must also make two similar but smaller springs that hold parts in position.
Springs are a real aggravating part of the gun to make. Forging spring steel has to be done much more carefully than wrought iron. If the steel is overheated, it's ruined. Likewise, if you hammer it too cold, it damages the fibers. The springs are V-shaped, so the inner surfaces are filed and polished before they're bent. Afterward, you can't work on the inner faces. Deep file marks or forging flaws may cause the spring to break, so it's polished. It takes 3 or 4 heats to bend the spring into a V shape. The spring is held in place by a screw at one end and a pin at the back that goes through the lock plate. Decorative bevels are filed on the spring. They have no function at all. A good spring should bend evenly from front to back. After tempering, its action should be smooth and crisp and not feel mushy. Springs are tempered in lead heated to the boiling point. By submerging the springs in the molten lead, you get an even heat throughout the thick and thin parts. After heating, they are quenched in linseed oil. After quenching, the springs are very brittle. They are then polished, put on a bar in the forge, and heated. This softens them somewhat and gives the springs flexibility.
Stay safe, stay warm, stay free.